Having a podcast is hilarious. Okay. I feel like it's like the most basic bitch thing in the world nowadays because everybody's got one. I mean this in the nicest way possible. Death fucking sucks. I mean this in the nicest way possible. And I'm your host, Richard A. Mills. Hello and welcome to the show, you guys. I know that I took over a month-long break, but I needed that bitch. To be perfectly honest, I am just one of those people where I was doing the podcast like every Wednesday religiously, pretty much for 6 months. I think I took like 1 or 2 weeks off in that 6 month period of time. And I actually didn't actually take it off. It was like, I just had like a break scheduled in between seasons. And so it was a lot. And I just needed that time to not worry about social media every day, like the podcast social media. And it's been really good for me. I feel like very zen lately because I just feel like I am in a place where I just really want to choose peace. And like, I'm getting to a point in my life where I just like really can't handle complaining and negativity and toxic behaviors, people who are mean girls, like all of that kind of stuff just really bothers me. Like I'm just in this very peaceful Zen place in my life right now. And so that was part of the break, is just needing more time to commit to that, Richard. So welcome to season 3, the unfiltered season. And I just want to tell you, one of the reasons that I said I mean this in the nicest way possible, death fucking sucks, is because it does. I know that a lot of you were probably super in shock to see actress Hayden Panettiere die the other day, or, hear about her death the other day. I mean, it's awful, awful, awful. And I mean, just so many things can come from a celebrity death. I don't know about you guys, but it was just heartbreaking to me. It was heartbreaking to me because as somebody who's paid attention to Hayden Panettiere throughout her whole entire career, like I've always been, I'd say, a healthy sized fan of hers. I watched Nashville back when she was on it. I watched Heroes when she was on it. I've seen her movies. Shout out to Ice Princesses and Bring It On, All or Nothing. Raising Helen is like one of my freaking favorites. So I just love Hayden Panettiere. I've always thought she was beautiful. Loved her in Scream too. Not Scream 2, but Scream, the 4th installment of Scream, excuse me. I have followed celebrity culture since I can remember. A lot of people do not know about the blind items that would come out about Hayden Panettiere when she was in the height of her career. And there were allegations of abuse from her father that was also propagated by her mother. And then obviously through her memoirs, she told a lot of what she felt comfortable telling. And so it's just really hard for me to imagine a world where Hayden Panettiere and her brother are no longer with us, but her parents are still alive. And I don't know if you guys saw Leslie's statement that she made about the death of her daughter, but it literally sounded like a producer or somebody that Hayden worked with making commentary like, oh, the life for child stars is hard and stuff like that. Like, she did not sound like she was talking about her daughter. I truly believe that this Leslie person is a terrible person. I think Hayden Panettiere's father is a terrible person. I think that a lot of people that Hayden surrounded herself with were terrible people. I'm talking to you, Diana Jenkins. And so I just feel it was sad when she died because it's like, basically like evil one. You see a person like her who seems like she has such a bright light in spirit, and you see her, trying to fight to pull through for her daughter. And just the fact that she, wasn't able to is just messed up. And the fact that she was dating people who are abusive is messed up. And yes, I am getting emotional about this, about a person I absolutely do not know and am not sure of truly what happened to them in their life. But when your mom is making you do commercials at 8 months old and not even giving you the choice to choose to be a star, and when you fire your mother from being your manager, telling her that you really need a mother, and her immediate response is, "You owe me," that's just fucked up. That lets me know that you had a hard childhood. That lets me know that your support networks in your life were simply not there for you. And that is the part that makes Hayden's death even more tragic. And also, too, when you think about Neutrogena, she talks about how emotionally impacted she was by the severed ties between her relationship with Neutrogena as a spokesperson. And it breaks my heart because postpartum depression is a very real thing that women and mothers go through. And to get fired over being honest about it when it's something that any celebrity, anybody with a platform should be talking about if they're experiencing it so that other moms out there have someone to relate to and know that they're not going through it alone is just awful. And the fact that Neutrogena released a statement 5 days after Hayden's death, meaning that, the news, like, obviously pissed people off. And then they started thinking about past things Hayden was talking about and grievances she had. And then they come back to Neutrogena. And it's just like they released this statement like, oh, we are so sorry, basically, for not being supportive of her through a difficult time. And it's like, I believe she said that this partnership was like a decade long or something like that. So, you're going to these events as a spokesperson, you're doing these commercials, you're making this money, and then you're honest about something you're going through that's not even that bad. Like, postpartum depression, when I say it's not that bad, I mean, it's a horrible thing for women to go through, but I'm saying, like, she didn't harm someone or do something as a celebrity that would just be like highly frowned upon. She was just honest about some emotional turmoil she's going through. And this business decides to fire her over that. Like, literally, all I've got to say to you is, fuck you, Neutrogena. You're a piece of shit. Your apology means nothing. And I hope that the world boycotts you out of existence. All right. So I don't want to get stuck on Hayden Panettiere's death, but one of the reasons that I'm making this episode about death in general is because it's just been a very prominent. I should have brought some. I see the napkins napkins for my face over there, and they're not within reach. So you guys are just going to have to like cry with me here because I just am very emotional right now. But basically the other night I was at my boyfriend's bar. My boyfriend bought a bar in March, and I've been helping him with it a lot, with operations and different things like that. And I happened to be there the other night and this girl decided to have her 21st birthday at the bar. So she brings 20 people, and I see that I know somebody from the 20 people. Basically, this woman was the ex-wife of a man that was really good friends with my stepfather growing up. And my stepfather and my mother used to hang out with this couple all the time. And they had 3 kids. Their 2 younger children, a boy and a girl, were close to my age. Like, the son was exactly the same age as me, and the daughter was only a couple years younger. And we used to play all the time. So when our parents were hanging out together, partying together, doing God knows what, we would hang out. And it was really cool because when my parents were busy, sometimes they would leave me with their parents, and they would, take us to the park and take us to feed ducks and to do different fun stuff. And so I just have so many fond memories of these kids that I spent a lot of my childhood with. And so anyway, I see their mom, and, I'm so excited to see her, and I hug her, and oh God, guys, I'm so sorry. I hug her, and I'm catching up with her and everything. I had just seen her at the grocery store maybe a year or even 2 ago. And basically, I remember a year and 2 ago when I saw her at the grocery store, she had told me that the son that is my age, that his cancer had come back. And just to make a long story short, when we were 16, he actually developed testicular cancer, which was just so crazy to me to think that a 16-year-old could get testicular cancer. But he got it, and he survived it, and we're all so happy that he did. I remember I thought it was funny because, like, when you're going through something like that, you can be really dark or you could be a cool spirit about it. And he was such a good spirit about it. Like, for instance, he had testicular cancer. He had to have a testicle removed. Okay. That could be such a emasculating thing for a man to go through, but this guy actually made it his personality. And he actually made his nickname with his friends Lefty, because I'm not sure if Lefty was the ball that was removed or the ball that was still remaining, but he made his nickname Lefty. And I always thought that was so cool. I had so much respect for him for doing that. And I always have fond memories of when we were 16, because, like, I remember we went to the movie theater together, and he had a prescription for Percocet. I don't know why it was related to his cancer. It was something, pain related. And we're sitting there. I'll never forget this. We're watching Halloween H2O. We had just snuck into the movie theater because here in Oregon, you have to be 18 to watch a rated R movie. And we were not 18. And I'll never forget, the guy tells us, oh, you have to be 18. You can't go to this. So I'm like, okay, whatever. 2 tickets for some other movie that's, age appropriate. He's like, oh, really? Like, we're going to go see that movie? And I was like, fuck no, we're not going to see that movie. You better walk with me into Halloween H2O right now, sir. And so we go see that movie, and we're sitting there having a great time watching the movie. And he looks at me and he's like, "You want one?" And I'm like, What? One? What? And he hands me a Percocet. And I never did that kind of stuff. Like, I really was a goody two shoes teenager. Like, I was not drinking and partying or like, trying to experiment or anything crazy like that. And I took that Percocet, and I kid you not, that shit was like otherworldly. Like, thank God I never like developed a pill addiction from it. But oh my God, it was a lot of fun that day. I was fucked up with him and we had a great day. And so I have so many fond memories of this person. And so flash forward to now, I see his mother at my boyfriend's bar the other night, and she tells me, "Just so you know, my son died 2 years ago." And I guess being around all the people, I couldn't really process it. But now I'm processing it with you guys right now, and it just fucking sucks. It really does. It's like just when it's somebody your age and somebody who had a good heart and spirit, it just sucks to think that they're not going to be here with us any longer. And this guy had 4 kids. So I just think about his 4 kids not having an amazing father, and just he had the best spirit. And so that just really sucked. It's like Hayden Panettiere dies. I find out that my friend died 2 years ago, even though we had kind of lost contact and, I didn't keep in touch that much. And so it just got me thinking about death. And so I just wanted to talk to you guys about that because I know that the last episode of the podcast, like the season 2 finale, was about leaving a legacy. And I kind of want this to just be a reminder of how important it is to leave a legacy. Because if this person wasn't a good person, if Hayden Panettiere didn't, touch so many people, we wouldn't care to talk about them. And they really do live on through your memories. They really do live on through the good moments that you can think that you had with them. And so that's why I think it's so important to be the type of person who leaves a lasting legacy, who people will have fond thoughts and memories of, and who they'll want to continue in their honor when they're gone. And so it's just something that's just been heavy on my heart. Like, for instance, today, actually 2 days before recording this episode, I finished the book Crying in H Mart. But this book is also about death. And so I just feel like after finishing it today, it is like just hitting me like that subject matter. And that's why this is what I want to talk to you about today. This is not a book club discussion or anything like that, but I just want to tell you why you should read it. So first and foremost, I live in Eugene, Oregon. The book is actually predominantly based in Eugene, Oregon. That was just a fluke accident. My mom and I didn't even know that. She was like, "Yeah, I bought the book because the cover looked interesting." And then she's like, then I start reading it and I'm like, whoa, it's based in our city, a city that we lived in. My mom doesn't live here anymore, but I do. And it's just a beautiful book about a daughter and mother's relationship, and that daughter reflecting on everything when that mother develops cancer and dies. And also too, I just have to give you a shout out, Michelle's Honor. I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but you are kind of my hero because, like, as a creative myself, the fact that came from after your mother's death and just all these amazing things happened to her before she even wrote this book. That's what's so cool. It's just beautiful. And it's just a beautiful book. It really is. Like, it inspires me to want to be a better writer as I pursue my own memoir. And just the fact that Michelle Zahner used to work at Sizzle Pie, which is a pizza place I used to frequent. I could have literally been served by this woman. It's just so cool to me. Like, I just think that she's like my hero. And so, I've just been reflecting on death. I really have, and it's funny because I just visited my grandma actually a week ago, and I visited her for her 87th birthday. And, when somebody's 87, I hate to say it, but death becomes kind of a topic that, you reflect on because they're 87, like their friends are dying, family members around that age are dying. And so that is really heavy in their lives. And I'll never forget, one time I just started sobbing uncontrollably because I was literally thinking about how, basically, I just don't call my grandma as much as I think I should. You know what I mean? And so I'm stewing on it. And I'm sitting there thinking about how if she died tomorrow, I'd feel horrible because I'd feel like I don't call her enough. And so I started sobbing. And I called her and I was just like, "Grandma, I'm so sorry I don't call you regularly." And she's like, "It's okay, honey. I don't hold it against you." To be perfectly honest, that is exactly how I felt when my stepfather died. My stepfather was a huge figure in my upbringing. I mean, he was the man who taught me how to change a tire, who taught me how to fire a gun, who taught me how to cook a steak. You know, this man was like just super prominent in my life up until he passed away. And he passed away when I was 16. And I remember it was weird. I didn't feel like I handled it the way that I wanted to. I think that like we all kind of have an idea of like how we want to respond when someone dies. Like, you know, when you hear the news of someone that you deeply care about dying, you would think that your first immediate reaction is to cry. But when my mother came in the room and told me that my stepfather had passed away, I felt like nothing. Not nothing like in a nasty way. I just mean like I guess it was so like shocking to me that it was like hard for me to react. Like I didn't want to believe that it was real. And I didn't cry. And it actually bothered my mother that I didn't cry. So I was like upset with her because she's like attacking me. Like, I can't believe you're not like bawling your eyes out. And it's like, well, not all of us are like emotional wrecks. And I remember feeling this like, should I be like more distraught? I went to his funeral. I didn't cry. There were a bunch of kids at my father's funeral because he actually was a softball coach. And I remember him telling me that he was a softball coach because when my mother and I left Oregon and moved to Ohio, he missed, you know, me and missed having those like mentoring like interactions. And so he sought to coach softball so that he could get those interactions and, you know, fill that parental kind of role, if you will, because he didn't actually have any born children of his own. I remember like there were all these kids at his funeral and they're crying and adults are crying. And it's like I could not react. And I don't know if it's because I just didn't want to accept it or something. But I remember it wasn't even until like 2 weeks later to when I was like in my room alone that I just lost my shit. It was like it really hit me like he's gone and he's not coming back. And that was just really hard. And one of the things that made it harder for me is that I felt like I didn't call him enough back then. I remember that his birthday was coming up. He was a fan of the artist Santana, the guitar player. And I bought him Santana's new CD at the time. And it was the one that had all the cool songs on it, like the songs with Rob Thomas and the songs with Michelle Branch. And I was so excited for him to get this album because I loved those songs so much. And I was so excited to connect with him over an artist that he loved that's, you know, more from his generation, but also was making new hits that appealed to mine. And I remember I didn't get that CD to him before he died. And I just would stare at it like blankly, and I would just be so sad because I was just like, damn, like this one gift, this one nice thing that I wanted to do for my father and I couldn't do it, and now he's not here anymore and I can't do it. You know what I mean? And I can't make up for that. And so this is another reason why, you know, it is important to hold the people in your life that you love a little bit closer, to not let the hustle and bustle and busyness of life get you to a point where you're not making those connections and regular emotional deposits, if you will, with the people that matter most to you in your life. Because I'm living proof that basically I wasn't able to do that with my father. And then I really wasn't able to do that with my father. And that was one of the reasons why I think I guilt tripped over grandma so much more. But I'm trying to make up for it. I just saw her. I try to do regular visits and just really, you know, get that time in. So we're making up for it. But basically, that sucks. And another thing that I want to talk about too is like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I have the hardest time consoling people when someone dies because you just don't know what to say. I feel like for me, I kind of have, I don't know what you guys do when someone dies. Some people are so good at that, like at comforting others. And I think I'm really good at comforting others in like pretty much every other scenario but death, because everybody handles death differently. And some people like shut down and death is so hard for them and they're so broken that it's like, I don't feel like there's anything that I can say that would make them feel better. You know what I mean? I think that on social media, I've kind of like developed this like automatic response that I have when somebody important dies in someone's life. And it's very easy for me to go to because I feel like it's just the right thing to say. And that is to cherish the memories. Because when someone dies, that's really all you have left of them is the memories. And so if you have a lot of good memories with that person, if there's somebody that you were really fond of, you really loved deeply, and you know, you had laughs with and you had funny moments and experiences that you'll never forget, then that is really the best way to deal with death. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even remember a bad thing about my relationship with my stepfather. I can't even, because he was just such an amazing person. So I just, those memories hold me and pictures hold me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not saying my friend's name who passed away. I normally would give you his name, but I'm going to tell you something interesting. So I'm talking to my friend that passed away's mother, and she admits to me that she's not the most technologically advanced person, and that she has all these pictures of her deceased son on her phone that she'd like to transfer to her computer. And that's honestly when a little light went off in my head, because I was just thinking I could help her with that. And in helping her with that, I can actually get a piece of my friend back, because the truth is that we just faded apart. I don't think that he was very active on social media, so we didn't have that component, to keep in touch with. And so just to be able to see what he's been up to over the last 10 years would just mean so much to me. So I actually took her number, gave her mine, and offered to come to her house and help her move those photos from her phone to her computer as well. And so I'm very excited to do that. And I also reconnected with his sister, the one that I said is a few years younger than me. We were really good friends back in the day. Like, we used to sing and dance together. Like, she actually asked me to perform at her high school's talent show back in the day, and I did with her. And I just have a lot of fond memories of that as well. And, with him passing away, I don't want my relationship with her to, end up the same way, where I just never know what's going on with her and we never keep in touch or anything. So I reached out. So I'm super excited, because then I will just be able to talk to her, and just kind of just re-spark that friendship and just hear more about what her brother's life was like before it ended so tragically soon. So I just think that there's an importance in cultivating a legacy. I think there's an importance in keeping bonds together that are worth keeping together, of course. Like, you've listened to other podcast episodes, I'm not about keeping toxic and horrible people in your life. I'm not saying that you need to nurture those type of relationships. I'm saying for the people you care about, for the people whose deaths will impact you because you will be sad and heartbroken at their absence. Go back, revisit those relationships, strengthen them, and make them beautiful before it's too late. And so I want to tell you about my personal relationship with death. And I'm talking about literally death, like the thing that takes people with the sickle and, the robe and everything like that. I'm sure you guys have seen the stereotypical depiction of death at your door or whatever they say. And I want to tell you guys really quick before I let you go about my relationship with death. So basically, long story short, many moons ago, I worked at a restaurant with a bunch of people, that were around my age. And we used to just have a ball together. We'd party together and do all kinds of stuff together. So one day they're telling me, they're like, we rented a yurt at the beach or, at the coast or whatever. And we would love for you to join us. We're going to go there and party, and it should be a lot of fun. And so I'm like, oh, that sounds like fun. I don't even know what a yurt is, but I'm willing to learn. You know what I mean? So I'll go with you guys. It's only one night anyway. These were friends I felt very comfortable with. And so I went with them to this yurt. If you know what a yurt is, it's this round structure that can be used as a dwelling, for camping or even living. Some people actually have yurt homes. So we go and we unload our stuff in this yurt. I think there was 10 of us, it's 7 to 10 people, something like that. It was a nice group. It could have even been more, but it was a long time ago, so I don't remember the exact number. We're all unpacking our stuff, laughing, talking, getting our alcohol ready. And one of the guys in the group is like, I have acid. Let's all do hits of acid before we hike to the beach. Now, I just want to tell you guys about kind of my own standards for drug use, because I really am not somebody who likes drugs. I don't like prescription pills. My rule has always been, if it is not a plant, don't do it. You know what I mean? So I don't think anything's wrong with marijuana. I don't think anything's wrong with shrooms. I think that nothing should be consumed in excess. So I think everything should be done in moderation. You shouldn't be a stoner that smokes weed all day, every day. I don't think that you should do shrooms all day, every day. I don't think you should do any drug all day, every day. I don't think you should eat certain foods all day, every day. You know what I mean? So I was very reluctant, to say the least, about trying acid. I've heard about what it's done to people, as far as some people do acid and they're never the same again. It affects them mentally. And so it was pretty scary, but I'm watching my friends all do tons of it. They're literally doing, it was drops. It was in a dropper. And they're all doing like 5 hits, 7 hits, 6 hits. I'm like watching them all, do it. And they're all doing like multiple hits, 4 hits, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, damn, peer pressure is kicking in. So I look at them and I say, I've never tried it before. I am a little scared. How about I just do 1 hit? So I did 1 hit of acid. So we walked to the beach and I'm drinking the 1 bottle of champagne on the way there, finish it off while we're at the beach, having a good time. This hike is, let's just say, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, something like that. And so I have a good old time. The acid doesn't really kick in. And so we hang out at the beach. We're having a good old time. It's starting to get dark and not all of us had flashlights. This is back then where we had smartphones and they had like flashlights, but just not quite as good as the ones we have now. And so, everybody's like, oh, it's starting to get dark. We want to walk back to the yurt safely. And so let's head back. So I'm tipsy as fuck. Finally, the acid is starting to kick in and we're walking back, walking this trail back from the beach to the yurt. And I kid you not, at some point I felt like my subconscious kicked in and like I could literally see in the dark because I'm walking ahead of everyone. I'm talking about with no flashlight and pitch black, like darkness. Like I cannot see anything. And I'm just like walking like it's nothing. And I mean, my friends were good people. Like they cared. They didn't want me to be dangerous or get in trouble. Like they did have that mindset and mentality of like, let's stay together. And I tell them, I'm like, I can see in the dark. My subconscious remembers the way. My subconscious remembers the path and all the twigs and bushes that I could trip on. So like, I'm fine, guys. I'm like reassuring them that I'm totally fine. And I really do. I like run ahead and I'm having this good old time just vibing with this like euphoric feeling as I'm like walking in pitch black darkness in the woods. And at some point, I kid you not, and I don't remember exactly like if it was walking next to me or if it was sitting on my shoulder, but basically death appeared out of nowhere. Like death, sickle, like skull, like hood, cloak, everything. And it's like, even if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I felt it. Like, you know what I mean? I just felt death. And I remember being like, holy shit, like, oh no, like, oh God, it's kind of scary to see you right now. But also I felt really good at the same time. So I wasn't scared of that presence of death, like to a point where I was going to react physically, like, scream or like freak out or run or anything like that. So I basically asked it, why are you here, bro? And it told me, it was like, I just know that you think about me sometimes. And so I'm just here to let you know that you're going to accomplish everything before I take you with me. And that was literally like the end of the conversation. And I was like, oh my God, I said, thank you. That actually makes me feel some like, semblance of peace. And it actually makes me relax, about myself and dying. And that was the end of the conversation. The feeling or presence went away. And then I walked the rest of the way to the yurt, had a great time with my friends, and that was that. And I don't know if that was just a delusional trip or if that really actually happened, like in the sense that there really is a death out there that can talk to you and they, gave me a nod on when my time will come. But I don't know, I'll just never forget that. And I have lived life to the fullest, I will say, since that conversation. And so that was a whole interesting thing in itself. And I figured that because of this topic, I should just probably tell you that story too. So my final message to you guys after this crazy rant about death and how much it sucks is to remember to leave a legacy. I know that was the last episode of season 2, but it's just extra important now as I find out that friends are dying, as Hayden Panettiere dies, and as people in your life die, because they do every day and it fucking sucks. You've been listening to I Mean This in the Nicest Way Possible, and I'm your host, Richard Armande Mills. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and please don't die.